Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space on all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of education and mental health play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually just dropped the thought piece this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you're looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure. We provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today our topic of discussion is education. And on the topic of education, I want to do a 2-part series here on fear. And I think that it's important to talk about fear because it's something that we're all going to experience at some point and by varying degrees in our life. But a lot of us don't have a working model of how it is we're supposed to really gauge our fear for action. So a lot of us just kind of go into whatever instinct takes place or is taking over at that point in time, whether that's for our benefit or otherwise. And I think because of recent experiences in my life, I've had a lot of time to reflect on fear and the role that fear has played in my life, and also the role that fear plays currently in my life. So I wanted to talk about fear. I think that it is an important conversation. I think that it's a conversation that I'm going to have a little bit more frequently because very few of us are given the guardrails of how it is we anchor our fear. And so that's what I want to talk about here in this 2-part series. So in this first segment, I just want to talk about what fear is fundamentally, and that's fear is energy. And I think that it's powerful energy. When you're frightened, there's so much energy being channeled into the object of what scares you that we don't realize just how much we are giving of ourselves. And that's another thing I want to talk about is fear is a posture. It's not just an emotion, it's posture where you're giving, transferring energy to the thing that scares you. And it's draining, right? So fear is such a powerful and intense feeling, depending on the degrees of fear that you're experiencing, that it can really take all of you to just deal with the fear when you're not dealing with it effectively. And then what you end up doing is you're giving whatever it is that is the object of your fear that much power over you. And that's what I've realized. So for those of you who didn't know, I did spend 2.5, almost 3 years in hiding. I was being stalked. As a result of that, I ended up being in 4 hotel programs for women who were escaping violence. And a lot of that still is not completely resolved, but I think that I have experienced a true transformation in the way that I respond to fear from when this situation started building up and I started to identify what was going on to now. And what I've learned is that fear is an anchor that we have the opportunity to channel back into ourselves. And the way that we do that is with courage. When we make the choice to not allow fear to paralyze us and not allow fear to cripple us or to remove our ability to act in a way that is within our best interest. And I think that that's the thing that those who are invoking fear in you, or even if it's a thing or a situation that's invoking fear in you, it's almost asking you a question like, are you going to allow yourself to derail because of this emotion? Or are you going to give yourself the opportunity to cultivate a certain degree of self-mastery by channeling into that fear, that raw energy, and coming out stronger, better, more aware, more insightful, more evolved because you pushed through the fear? And that's what I've learned now. I spent so much time in a fear-based state that I have almost become a little bit desensitized to it. Like, I can't say that I'm a fearless person, but I also can say very confidently that I'm not a fearful person. I think the situations that would have scared me 4 years ago, 3 years ago, are not situations that scare me anymore. I've developed a certain degree of threshold because I've recognized through the situations that I've survived dealing with this situation is that I'm very capable, very able, and very effective at dealing with what wants to invoke a reaction of fear within me. I can control my fear responses. And I think that a fear response is a signal. It definitely tells you that there's danger, there's something to be wary of, but it doesn't mean to break down. And that's what I've learned. When you learn to channel into your fear, you can from that fear derive what the appropriate action is, and you can jump into action on your own. And oftentimes what we do when we are in fear is we are paralyzed, we seek validation, we seek confirmation, we want to know, like, do other people agree with the thing that's scaring me? When that doesn't matter. If you're afraid, that's all that matters, and your body also within that state of fear is telling you what to do. And I have learned to trust myself in the way that I respond to fear. There are certain things, there are certain people who feed off fear, and the best thing for me to do is to circumvent that fear back into me and channel that into courage, into bravery, into strategic thinking, into a way to make sure that whatever it is that lies ahead that requires my fear to manifest, I'm not going to feed into it with the fear that I have. The fear that I have will instead play into the way that I maneuver to heighten my degree of self-preservation, heighten my ability to circumvent those situations, and to also get some sort of accountability in place. And I think that what is beyond fear is just the state of awareness of your ability, of your capability to push through the things that scare you. And that's what I want to come here and talk about. I think fear is a signal to act. It's not a signal to cave. And a lot of us are caving in the face of fear. And I think all of us have it within us to tap into the power that fear is activating to do something about the situation that reinstates this feeling of completeness, of wholeness, of security, and of safety. And I think that that's something we all deserve, but that's something that we all can work towards. We don't need help. We don't need permission in many of the cases. And in the cases where we should seek help, seek help. Don't be so afraid that you allow yourself to be completely alone in a situation where you can definitely have a team. So this is short and sweet, but I thought it was an important conversation to have because I think a lot of us are dealing with different fears, right? We can call them worries, we can call them anxieties, but at the root of it, they're things that scare us, and they scare us into submission. And I'm here to say fear is something that should scare you into action, not submission. And that's a conscious choice that involves stepping into the unknown, stepping into the uncertainty, and learning by trial and error. And I think it's something every single one of us can do. So that was it for today, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops, largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So check it out, be part of our Game Changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.